Our planet is often called the blue planet, and for good reason. Oceans cover more than two-thirds of its surface, forming a vast interconnected realm that is both ancient and enigmatic, yet what glimmers on the surface is merely a thin, radiant skin. Beneath lies a world shrouded in perpetual darkness, a domain that remains largely unexplored and filled with secrets. As sunlight fades with depth, the ocean transforms dramatically. The uppermost layer, known as the epipelagic or sunlight zone, is a mere sliver compared to the vastness below. Descend just a few hundred meters, and the world is plunged into a realm of eternal night, where the absence of light shapes every aspect of existence. Over 95% of the planet's living space is found within this deep, dark ocean, a volume so immense it dwarfs all terrestrial habitats combined. Here, in the abyssal plains and trenches, the environment is defined by crushing pressure, frigid temperatures, and a silence broken only by the distant rumble of shifting tectonic plates, or the faint crackle of hydrothermal vents. In this alien world, life has evolved in astonishing ways. Creatures drift and hunt in the blackness, their bodies sculpted by the relentless forces of the deep. Imagine a world where the concept of day and night is meaningless, a place where time is measured not by the sun but by the slow drift of nutrients and the rhythms of the deep. For the vast majority of the ocean, this is reality, a ceaseless, unbroken midnight stretching for thousands of kilometers in every direction. Sunlight, the engine of life on land and in shallow seas, can only penetrate a few hundred meters before it is swallowed by the water's depths. Beyond this boundary, known as the mesopelagic or twilight zone, the world descends into the bathypelagic and abyssopelagic zones, a permanent midnight where only the faintest traces of light ever appear. The scale of this darkness is staggering. If Mount Everest were placed in the deepest ocean trench, its peak would still be buried beneath more than 2 kilometers of water lost in the blackness. The deep sea's vastness is matched only by its inaccessibility, with mountain ranges, canyons and plains stretching across the ocean floor, forming a landscape more alien than any found on land. Life here is a testament to adaptation. From the bizarre gulper eel with its enormous mouth to the ghostly Dumbo octopus gliding through the gloom, each species is a marvel of evolutionary ingenuity. Without sunlight to power photosynthesis, the deep sea's food web is built on alternative foundations. Some organisms graze on the detritus that drifts down from above, while others cluster around hydrothermal vents, drawing energy from chemicals seeping from the Earth's crust. In the absence of sunlight, many deep-sea creatures have evolved the ability to produce their own light. Bioluminescence is a common phenomenon here, illuminating the darkness with flashes, glows, and pulses used to lure prey, communicate, or evade predators. The slow, constant fall of organic particles, marine snow, forms the backbone of the deep sea's ecosystem, nourishing creatures that wait patiently for this life-sustaining rain. Each flake of marine snow is a tiny world, teeming with bacteria and microfauna, providing sustenance for scavengers and filter feeders alike. The pressure in these depths is immense, rising relentlessly with every meter descended. For every 10 meters, the weight of the water above increases by 1 atmosphere, creating an environment where only the most specialized life can survive. In the deepest trenches, the pressure is equivalent to the weight of 50 jumbo jets pressing down on every square meter, a force that would crush most living things instantly. Yet deep-sea organisms have evolved bodies that are flexible, pressure-resistant, and often devoid of air-filled spaces, allowing them to withstand these crushing forces. Many are gelatinous, their bodies composed almost entirely of water, making them nearly incompressible and perfectly suited to the abyss. Others lack swim bladders or other gas-filled organs, which would collapse under such pressure, relying instead on oil-filled tissues or unique biochemical adaptations. In this endless night, life not only persists, it flourishes, from the glowing siphonophores stretching for meters to the resilient amphipods scuttling across the sea floor. The deep sea is a living testament to nature's boundless creativity and resilience, a mysterious world whose wonders are only beginning to be revealed. In the fathomless blackness of the abyss, where sunlight is but a distant memory, vision fades into irrelevance. Here the world is shaped not by what can be seen, but by what can be heard. Sound reigns supreme, weaving an invisible tapestry that guides, warns, and connects the denizens of the deep. Every movement, every interaction is orchestrated by the subtle symphony of the abyss. In this submerged world, sound travels with a clarity and speed unknown on land, slicing through the dense water with astonishing efficiency. Vibrations ripple outward, moving more than 4 times faster than in air, carrying messages across vast, unseen distances. The secret lies in the water itself, its molecules pressed tightly together, forming a perfect medium for the transmission of even the faintest tremor. Across the endless plains and towering ridges, a single call, a click, or a pulse can traverse kilometers, carrying vital information through the silent, eternal night. Within this acoustic realm, certain inhabitants have evolved extraordinary abilities, mastering the art of sound to a degree unmatched elsewhere in the animal kingdom. Sperm whales, colossal and enigmatic, are the undisputed virtuosos of the deep. Their powerful clicks, resonating like thunder in the abyss, are the loudest biological sounds on Earth, echoing for miles through the water. Each click is a tool, a beacon, a message, serving not one but many purposes. Through echolocation, these giants sculpt a detailed soundscape of their world, detecting the faintest flutter of a squid's fin or the subtle shift of a distant current, all in utter darkness. Their clicks and codas are also a language, a complex code that binds families and clans echoing through canyons and across plains, keeping kin connected in the vastness. Yet the chorus of the abyss is not sung by whales alone. Countless other voices join the symphony. Lanternfish flash and murmur, crustaceans tap and rattle, each species crafting its own unique signature in the darkness. The snapping shrimp, tiny yet mighty, unleashes a crack as loud as a gunshot, stunning prey and sending ripples of warning through the water. Deep-sea fish grunt and croak, their calls weaving through the gloom, each note a signal, a challenge, or a plea. To human ears, these sounds might seem faint or insignificant, but in the hush of the abyss they are lifelines, urgent, vital, and unmistakable. A sudden burst of noise may signal the approach of a stealthy predator, sending a ripple of alarm through the community. Other sounds proclaim readiness to mate or stake a claim to a patch of precious territory in the endless dark. Some life forms even combine sound with bioluminescent displays, pulsing in rhythm to create a multisensory language that only the abyssal dwellers can decipher. There are creatures whose calls are so low and deep they can only be felt as vibrations, and others whose signals are so rare that they remain a mystery, echoing unanswered through the black. Cephalopods, masters of camouflage, may sense and respond to the faintest tremors, shifting color and form in silent reply to the language of vibration. Even the gelatinous drifters, jellyfish and medusae, pulse and drift, their bodies attuned to the distant rumbles and subtle cues that shape their world. The abyss is alive with an intricate web of sound, a living network of calls, clicks, pulses, and songs, each thread vital to the survival of its maker. In this world, harmony and chaos are balanced by the constant exchange of information, a ceaseless dialogue that has persisted for millions of years. In the ancient, fragile realm of the abyss, sound is the thread that binds all life together, a language as old as the ocean itself, echoing endlessly through the darkness. Beneath the swirling currents of the open ocean lies the largest and least explored landscape on our planet, the abyssal plain. This immense, flat, sediment-covered seafloor stretches across more than half of the Earth's surface, at depths between 3,000 and 6,000 meters. The abyssal plain is a world of profound stillness and uniformity, a vast muddy desert under kilometers of crushing water. Yet this apparent monotony hides a complex tapestry of geological features. Here, the seafloor is shaped by slow-moving tectonic plates, forming subtle rises and troughs, and occasionally interrupted by the dramatic presence of abyssal hills, low, rolling mounds that can stretch for hundreds of kilometers, remnants of ancient volcanic activity. The surface is blanketed by incredibly fine sediment, composed of the skeletal remains of microscopic plankton, volcanic ash and mineral dust that have drifted down from the world above over millennia. In some regions, manganese nodules, strange metallic concretions, dot the plain, growing imperceptibly over millions of years, providing rare hard surfaces in an otherwise soft, muddy expanse. The sediment here is so fine that it forms a thick, almost silty layer, disturbed only by the slow passage of deep-sea currents or the movement of the rare creatures that call this place home. The gentle rain of marine snow, organic debris, fecal pellets and tiny carcasses descends from the upper ocean, accumulating at an astonishingly slow rate, sometimes as little as 1 millimeter every 1,000 years. This marine snow is the primary source of energy for the abyssal ecosystem, nourishing a web of life that has adapted to the scarcity and darkness. Despite its barren appearance, the abyssal plain is far from lifeless. The most visible inhabitants are the sea cucumbers, slow-moving, soft-bodied creatures that wander across the mud in search of food. These peculiar animals are the earthworms of the deep sea, methodically ingesting sediment, digesting the organic matter within, and excreting cleaned mud, playing a crucial role in recycling nutrients and maintaining the health of the ecosystem. In some regions, sea cucumbers are joined by brittle stars, burrowing worms, and tiny crustaceans, each adapted to the cold, high pressure and food-poor conditions. These communities are patchy, often clustering around rare sources of enrichment such as sunken wood, whale falls, or the occasional hydrothermal vent that punctuates the plain with bursts of mineral-rich water and heat. Wandering across these great muddy plains, the sea cucumbers are joined by other enigmatic species. The abyssal plain is home to rare and remarkable creatures such as the ghostly cusk eel, the transparent amphipod, and the delicate glass sponge, whose intricate silica skeletons rise from the mud like underwater sculptures. These animals have evolved extraordinary adaptations: bioluminescence to attract prey or mates, gelatinous bodies to withstand immense pressure, and slow metabolisms to conserve energy in a world where food is scarce and unpredictable. The feeding process of these creatures is a slow, methodical affair. Sea cucumbers and other deposit feeders sift through the sediment, extracting every possible nutrient, while filter feeders like sponges and sea lilies capture drifting particles from the water above. In some parts of the abyss, these creatures are so numerous that they make up the vast majority of the visible life, forming dense aggregations that can stretch for kilometers, their slow movements leaving faint trails in the sediment. Lurking in the mud or scavenging for a meal are other, more formidable residents. The giant isopod, a creature that looks like a colossal version of a common woodlouse, sometimes grows to 0.5 meter in length. These armored giants are part of the deep sea's cleanup crew, opportunistic scavengers equipped with a powerful sense of smell that allows them to detect the faintest scent of a fallen carcass from a great distance. When they find a food source, they can gorge themselves, storing enough energy to survive for long periods, perhaps even years, between meals, a necessary adaptation in a world where food is so scarce and unpredictable. Other scavengers, such as the deep-sea amphipod and the grenadier fish, also roam the plain, each playing a role in breaking down and recycling the organic matter that reaches these depths. The abyssal plain is also home to rare and elusive species, such as the enigmatic tripod fish, which perches motionless on elongated fins, waiting for prey to drift within reach, and the bizarre deep-sea octopus, which glides silently across the mud, its delicate arms trailing behind. When a large food source, such as a whale fall, arrives on the plain, it becomes the center of a sudden, intense burst of activity. Scavengers and predators converge from miles around, feasting on the bounty and leaving behind only bones, which in turn become the foundation for new specialized communities of bone-eating worms and bacteria. Life on the abyssal plain is a story of patience and opportunism. The creatures here live life in the slow lane, with slow metabolic rates and long lifespans, conserving energy in the cold, dark and food-poor conditions. Some, like the deep-sea sponge, may live for thousands of years, growing imperceptibly on the muddy bottom. Every particle of marine snow, every sunken piece of wood, and every carcass that arrives from above is a precious gift of energy that sustains this unique community. The abyssal plain is a place where nothing is wasted, and every scrap of organic matter is recycled through the ecosystem. In the absence of sunlight, life here depends entirely on the slow trickle of nutrients from above and the remarkable ability of its inhabitants to survive on almost nothing. The abyssal plain is a realm of extremes, extreme pressure, extreme cold, and extreme scarcity, yet it is also a place of resilience and quiet abundance. This vast, flat wilderness, once thought to be a lifeless void, is now understood to be a dynamic and vital part of our planet's biosphere. It is a testament to the tenacity of life in the most extreme of environments, a hidden world where rare and remarkable species thrive in the perpetual darkness far beyond the reach of sunlight or human presence. On the vast, silent abyssal plains where the slow, constant drift of marine snow, tiny fragments of dead plankton, fecal pellets and organic debris descends from above, life ekes out an existence on the edge of starvation. Each flake is a precious morsel, and countless creatures have adapted to survive on this meagre, perpetual drizzle. But sometimes the darkness is shattered by the arrival of a food fall, a sudden windfall in the form of a large carcass or organic mass tumbling from the world above. For the denizens of the deep, this is a rare and momentous event, a feast that can transform the landscape and sustain entire communities. When such bounty arrives, predators, scavengers, and opportunists converge in a frenzy. The food fall becomes the heart of a complex web of life, supporting a banquet that can last for years or even decades, as each wave of creatures takes its turn at the table. One such feast begins with a tree torn from the land by a storm, drifting for months before finally losing its buoyancy and plunging into the abyss. As it settles on the sea floor, it becomes a beacon in the darkness, drawing in life from afar. Wood is a rare treasure in these depths, and a specialized caste of creatures has evolved to exploit it. The first to arrive are the wood-boring clams, their shells adapted for drilling, their bodies home to symbiotic bacteria that help digest the tough cellulose and lignin. These clams, along with unique microbes, possess the remarkable ability to unlock the energy stored within the wood, breaking it down and releasing nutrients into the surrounding water. Their survival depends on this rare resource, and their presence signals the start of a new ecosystem. The woodfall becomes a temporary island of life, teeming with activity. As the clams tunnel and feed, they create a labyrinth of passages, opening the way for other, more opportunistic species. The initial colonizers, those wood-boring clams, drill deep into the timber, carving out shelter and exposing fresh surfaces for colonization. Their activity paves the way for secondary organisms, worms, amphipods and isopods, each exploiting new niches, feeding on the detritus and microbial films that flourish in the wake of the clam's excavation. Snails arrive to graze on the microbial mats, scraping the wood's surface for sustenance. Each species carves out its own role, forming intricate food chains that spiral outward from the original feast. Predators soon follow, crabs and deep sea fish, drawn by the scent of prey. They hunt the wood borers and grazers, their survival strategies honed for ambush and stealth in the perpetual night. Over time, the woodfall undergoes ecological succession. Early colonizers give way to new arrivals, each wave exploiting the changing conditions as the wood decays and nutrients are depleted. This slow-motion transformation can take years, even decades, as the resource is gradually consumed and the bustling community fades back into the darkness, leaving only traces behind. Yet the greatest feasts of all are reserved for the fall of giants. When a whale dies and its massive body sinks to the abyss, it delivers an energy windfall unlike any other. A whale fall is a colossal banquet, its energy equivalent to thousands of years of marine snow. The arrival of such a prize triggers a cascade of life, each stage marked by fierce competition and ingenious survival strategies. The first to arrive are the mobile scavengers, sleeper sharks, hagfish and amphipods. Drawn from miles around by chemical cues, they descend in a feeding frenzy, stripping the soft tissues in a matter of months. Sleeper sharks and hagfish, with their powerful jaws and rasping tongues, are the clean-up crew, recycling flesh and fat back into the food web. Their relentless feeding leaves only bones behind. Even as the flesh disappears, the feast is far from over. The bones, rich in oils, become the foundation for a new community, one that thrives on chemical energy rather than sunlight. Bacteria colonize the bones, breaking down fats and releasing hydrogen sulfide, a chemical that fuels chemosynthetic life. This marks the beginning of a new food chain, one built on the energy of decay. Sulfur-loving bacteria form thick mats, providing food for grazers and filter feeders. These bacteria are the base of a thriving ecosystem, supporting a host of specialized creatures. These chemosynthetic communities are unique to the deep, their survival strategies built on harnessing chemical energy in a world without light. Ossidax worms, aptly named zombie worms, burrow into the bones, their root-like bodies dissolving lipids and extracting nourishment. They have no mouths or stomachs, relying on symbiotic bacteria to digest the fats within. Clams, mussels, and crustaceans join the feast, feeding on the bacteria or preying on each other. Each species has evolved to exploit a specific niche, from filter feeding to predation, weaving a complex tapestry of survival. For decades, the whale skeleton remains a vibrant oasis, a monument to the cycle of life and death in the deep. Here, every scrap of energy is contested, every opportunity seized in the struggle to survive. In the end, even the bones are consumed and the feast fades into memory. But for a time, in the eternal night of the abyss, these rare banquets sustain a world of astonishing diversity where every creature is both hunter and hunted, and survival depends on seizing the fleeting gifts that fall from above. The abyssal seafloor, a realm of perpetual darkness and crushing pressure, is not only inhabited by its steadfast denizens, it is also a crossroads for some of the ocean's most elusive and awe-inspiring wanderers, creatures that appear and vanish like phantoms, leaving only fleeting traces of their passage. These transient giants and spectral visitors are drawn to the deep by the promise of sustenance, adventure, or perhaps the ancient rhythms of migration that have guided their kind for millennia. Their arrivals are rare, unpredictable events, moments when the abyss stirs with life and mystery. Among the most formidable of these visitors is the sixgill shark, a true relic of prehistory. This ancient predator, with its lineage stretching back over 200 million years, glides silently through the blackness, its senses finely tuned to the faintest vibrations and scents. The sixgill shark is a living fossil, unchanged by time, its massive form moving with a slow, deliberate grace. It is a master of the deep, perfectly adapted to the cold, low-oxygen waters where few others can survive. Reaching lengths of over 4 meters, this predator boasts an extra pair of gill slits, a feature that sets it apart from its shallow-water relatives. Its powerful jaws and keen sense of smell make it a relentless scavenger, able to detect the faintest scent of a distant whalefall or the subtle chemical signature of a dying fish. When a whale carcass descends to the seafloor, the sixgill shark is often among the first to arrive. It circles the feast, tearing into the rich flesh with serrated teeth, joined by other deep-sea scavengers in a silent, macabre banquet. Sometimes these gatherings attract multiple giants, each one wary, each one a shadow in the gloom. Gliding through the darkness with an almost supernatural elegance is the chimera, or ghost shark, a creature whose very name evokes the otherworldly. Unlike true sharks, chimeras belong to a lineage that split from their cousins over 400 million years ago, making them living witnesses to the ocean's ancient past. Chimeras are rarely seen, their pale bodies and translucent fins giving them an ethereal glow in the faint light of submersibles. Their large iridescent eyes reflect the faintest glimmers, while their wing-like pectoral fins allow them to hover and drift above the muddy bottom. With a long, tapering tail and a snout bristling with sensitive pores, the chimera is a master of detection. It glides silently, searching for the faint electrical fields of hidden prey, crabs, clams, and worms buried deep in the sediment. When it locates a meal, the chimera's powerful jaws snap shut, crushing shells and exoskeletons with mineralized toothplates. Its feeding leaves only subtle marks in the mud, a quiet testament to its passing. These spectral hunters are solitary, rarely interacting with others of their kind except to mate. Their lives a solitary dance through the endless night. Yet perhaps the most enigmatic of all deep-sea visitors is the bigfin squid, or Magnapinna, a creature so rare that it has been glimpsed by human eyes fewer than 24 times. Its very existence is shrouded in mystery, its behaviours the subject of speculation and wonder. The bigfin squid drifts through the abyss with an alien grace, its body crowned by enormous fins that undulate like silk in the current. Its arms and tentacles, held at strange, elbow-like angles, trail behind it for up to 6 meters, forming a living web in the darkness. No one knows for certain how the bigfin squid hunts, but some believe it drags its long, sticky filaments along the seafloor, waiting for the brush of an unwary crustacean or fish. Others imagine it simply hangs in the water, a patient trap set for the next passing meal. Its movements are slow, almost dreamlike, as if it is a visitor from another world drifting through the silent halls of the deep. The bigfin squid's rare appearances are fleeting. One moment it is there, the next it has vanished into the black, leaving only questions in its wake. Floating through the water column like a drifting tapestry is the siphonophore, a creature so bizarre it has earned the nickname the flying spaghetti monster. Unlike any single animal, the siphonophore is a colony, a living chain of thousands of specialized individuals, or zooids, each performing a unique role. Some zooids form the gas-filled float that keeps the colony buoyant, while others are responsible for propulsion, undulating in perfect synchrony to move the entire structure through the water. The most remarkable zooids are the feeders, which deploy long stinging tentacles that trail behind the colony, fishing for small prey in the darkness. When a shrimp or fish brushes against these tentacles, it is instantly paralyzed and drawn in for consumption. The siphonophore is a marvel of cooperation, a floating city of predators, each part working in harmony to survive in the deep's unforgiving expanse. In this world without sunlight, where pressure and cold reign supreme, these transient giants and spectral visitors remind us that the deep sea is a place of endless wonder, where every encounter is a story, and every shadow may conceal a legend. Far beneath the crushing weight of the ocean, where sunlight never penetrates and the world is shrouded in perpetual darkness, lie some of the most extraordinary wonders on earth, oases of fire and life. Here, in the abyssal depths, the seafloor is punctuated by hydrothermal vents, underwater hot springs that erupt with scalding water, transforming the barren landscape into vibrant islands of energy and colour. These hydrothermal vents are born where icy seawater seeps into deep fissures in the planet's crust, vanishing into the hidden world below. As the water journeys downward, it is superheated by molten magma, reaching temperatures that can soar beyond 400 degrees Celsius, hot enough to melt lead. Superheated and now laden with a potent mix of dissolved minerals and chemicals, the water surges back up through the ocean floor, bursting forth in dramatic jets. As it meets the frigid deep-sea water, the minerals rapidly precipitate, building towering, chimney-like structures known as black smokers. These mineral spires rise from the darkness, billowing clouds of shimmering particles and marking the boundaries of these fiery oases. Around these vents, life flourishes in astonishing abundance. Dense clusters of organisms gather in the glow of the mineral-rich plumes, forming ecosystems more vibrant and crowded than almost anywhere else in the deep sea. Here, in a realm of toxic chemicals and utter darkness, life has found a way to thrive. The foundation of these bustling communities is not sunlight but chemical energy. Mats of chemosynthetic bacteria and microbes coat the rocks and vent openings, glowing faintly in the darkness. These remarkable organisms harness the energy locked within chemicals like hydrogen sulfide, a substance deadly to most life, using a process called chemosynthesis to create organic matter from the raw ingredients of the earth. These chemosynthetic microbes are the primary producers, forming the base of a food web that is entirely independent of the sun. Their energy supports a dazzling array of unique creatures, each adapted to the extremes of this alien world. Among the most iconic inhabitants are the giant tubeworms, Riftia pachyptila. These strange, elegant animals can reach up to 3 meters in length, growing in dense, waving thickets around the vent chimneys. Lacking both mouth and gut, they rely on a bright red plume to absorb chemicals from the vent fluid, and an internal organ called a trophosome, which is packed with symbiotic chemosynthetic bacteria. Within the tubeworm's body, the bacteria transform toxic chemicals into nourishing food, sustaining their host in a perfect partnership. In return, the worm provides the bacteria with a safe haven and a constant supply of chemicals, a symbiosis that allows both to flourish in this extreme environment. Even closer to the searing heat Pompeii, worms cling to the very walls of the black smoker chimneys. These remarkable creatures endure temperatures that can exceed 80 degrees Celsius, making them among the most heat-tolerant animals on the planet. Their secret lies in a thick, fuzzy coat of symbiotic bacteria that insulates their bodies from the intense heat. The worms may secrete a nourishing mucus to feed their bacterial partners, creating yet another extraordinary example of life's ingenuity and interdependence. Together, these organisms form vibrant symbiotic communities, thriving on the edge of what was once thought possible. In these oases of fire and life, the deep sea reveals its most profound secret, that even in the most hostile and unlikely places, life not only endures but flourishes, woven together by the invisible threads of chemistry, adaptation, and partnership. Beneath the crushing weight of the ocean, where sunlight never penetrates and the cold is relentless, the deep sea stretches as a seemingly endless, open plain. Yet, scattered across this vast expanse are rare sanctuaries, pockets of refuge where life flourishes against the odds, each shaped by unique conditions and remarkable adaptations. Among the most extraordinary of these are deep-sea octopus nurseries, where clusters of octopuses gather in the darkness, drawn by the promise of survival for their young. At the Dorado outcrop, a rocky rise off Costa Rica, a hydrothermal seep creates a haven in the cold abyss. Here, hundreds, sometimes thousands, of deep-sea octopuses gather in a living tapestry, their bodies pressed close to the warm rocks. Each female selects a crevice or a sheltered spot to lay her eggs, carefully brooding them in the gentle warmth. The secret to this congregation is the subtle heat rising from the sea floor, a rare gift in the icy deep. Warm water, heated by volcanic forces far below, seeps from the mountain's flank, creating a microclimate where life can thrive. This gentle warmth accelerates the development of eggs, a crucial advantage in a world where time moves slowly. In the near-freezing waters of the abyss, most life is forced to adapt to a glacial pace. Embryos develop over years, and every movement is slow and deliberate. Some octopus species brood their eggs for over 4 years, a testament to patience and endurance in the deep. This is the longest known incubation period of any animal, a strategy shaped by the cold and the need for protection. But in the warmth of hydrothermal seeps, the eggs develop much faster, reducing the time they are exposed to danger. This adaptation increases the survival rate of the next generation, as hatchlings emerge sooner, less vulnerable to lurking predators. The mothers, however, make the ultimate sacrifice, guarding their eggs without feeding, their energy devoted entirely to the future. They remain vigilant, fanning the eggs and keeping them clean until their strength fades. When the eggs finally hatch, the mother's journey ends, their bodies nourishing the ecosystem, their legacy carried on by their young. Far from the warmth of volcanic seeps, other sanctuaries emerge, built not by geology but by life itself. On the slopes of seamounts and along rocky ridges, deep-sea coral and sponge gardens rise from the darkness. These underwater mountains provide hard surfaces where corals and sponges can anchor and grow. The result is a breathtaking mosaic of colour and form, a living city in the cold and dark. Unlike their tropical relatives, these corals are adapted to frigid, sunless waters. Their tissues are built to withstand the cold, and their growth is slow, measured in centuries. They feed by filtering tiny particles from the passing currents, extending delicate polyps and branches to capture every morsel. Over millennia, these corals and sponges grow into vast tree-like structures, their branches forming intricate labyrinths. These living structures create a three-dimensional habitat, transforming the barren seafloor into a thriving metropolis. These coral and sponge gardens are the ancient cities of the deep, their walls and towers built by countless generations. Within their sheltering branches, a multitude of creatures find refuge. Fish, invertebrates, and countless others breed, feed, and hide among the coral maze. Brittle stars entwine their arms around coral branches, waiting for food to drift by. Fish slip between sponge clusters, their bodies camouflaged in the shadows. Crabs and shrimp scuttle through the coral lattice, each niche supporting a different specialist. These gardens are biodiversity hotspots, supporting a rich and complex web of life, each species finely tuned to its role in the ecosystem. Yet for all their resilience, these sanctuaries are fragile, delicate structures shaped by time and the slow work of life. A single disturbance can shatter a coral garden that took millennia to build, erasing centuries of growth in moments in the cold and dark. These sanctuaries stand as testaments to the ingenuity of life, hidden worlds of adaptation, diversity, and beauty, thriving where few would expect. Suspended between the sunlit surface and the pitch-black abyssal plain lies the vastest living expanse on Earth, the midwater, or pelagic zone. Here, in this immense open water column, life unfolds in a realm without boundaries, where the only constant is the endless blue and the ever-present threat of predation. In this world of perpetual twilight and darkness, there are no rocks, no reefs, no sheltering crevices, only the water itself. The inhabitants of the midwater are true phantoms, relying on extraordinary adaptations to survive in a place where being seen can mean certain death. Survival here is a delicate dance of concealment. Many species have evolved to become nearly invisible, their bodies shaped by the relentless pressure of predation and the need to remain unseen. Some midwater dwellers possess remarkable camouflage, their forms transparent or covered in reflective scales that scatter light, rendering them nearly undetectable in the three-dimensional expanse. In the upper reaches of the twilight zone, silvery fish like the hatchetfish and bristlemouths use mirror-like skin to reflect the faint, filtered sunlight vanishing from view when seen from the side. This adaptation is so effective that these species are among the most abundant vertebrates on the planet. Others employ countershading, with dark backs blending into the abyss below and pale bellies matching the dim glow from above. This dual-toned armor confuses both predators and prey, making detection from any angle a challenge. Descending deeper, the water absorbs sunlight's colors, and red is the first to vanish. In these depths, red becomes the ultimate cloak. Red wavelengths are quickly filtered out, leaving the deep sea bathed in blue. Any creature colored red is rendered invisible, as there is no red light left to reflect. Many deep-sea shrimp, dragonfish, and other elusive species are cloaked in crimson, appearing jet black in the abyss, hidden from both predators and prey. Yet the most profound adaptation is transparency. Countless midwater animals, from comb jellies to larval fishes, are nearly invisible, their bodies composed of clear tissues that allow light to pass through with minimal distortion. In the absence of harmful ultraviolet rays, pigment is unnecessary. Many midwater phantoms have evolved gelatinous, see-through bodies, their organs and muscles suspended in a watery matrix, making them all but disappear in the dim light. Among the most ethereal is the telescope octopus, a master of invisibility and adaptation. This octopus is a true pelagic wanderer, spending its entire existence adrift in the water column, never touching the seafloor, perfectly attuned to a life of suspension. Its body is almost entirely transparent and gelatinous, a ghostly silhouette gliding through the darkness, evading detection by both predators and prey. The telescope octopus's most extraordinary adaptation is its eyes. Unlike any other octopus, its eyes are tubular and perched on stalks, always directed upwards, scanning for the faintest hint of movement or bioluminescent glimmer from above. This unique visual system allows it to detect the silhouettes of prey or the brief flashes of bioluminescence, granting it a crucial edge in the perpetual hunt for food in the mid-water's dim world. Jellyfish, however, are the undisputed masters of the mid-water's transparent, gelatinous existence. Their ecological role is profound as both predators and prey, shaping the flow of energy through the ocean's depths. Composed of 98% water, their bodies are marvels of simplicity. No brain, no heart, no bones, just a delicate bell and trailing tentacles animated by a diffuse nerve net. This decentralized nervous system coordinates the rhythmic pulsing of their bells, propelling them through the water and allowing them to sense and respond to their environment with surprising efficiency. Their elegant, energy-efficient design has enabled jellyfish to thrive for over 500 million years, outlasting countless other lineages and weathering dramatic changes in Earth's oceans. Drifting like living ghosts, jellyfish trail venomous tentacles to ensnare prey, their presence a vital link in the mid-water food web. These phantoms, with their spectral forms and ancient lineage, are perfectly adapted to a life of perpetual suspension in the endless blue-black of the deep sea, shaping the mysterious ecosystem of the pelagic zone. From the sprawling, silent abyssal plains, where the ocean floor stretches endlessly in a landscape of mud and mystery, to the fiery oases of hydrothermal vents, where mineral-rich plumes rise and transform the darkness into a crucible of creation, the deep sea is a realm where life has evolved in forms both alien and astonishing, thriving in perpetual night. Here, existence is shaped by relentless pressure and unyielding cold, forging adaptations that defy conventional understanding. In this world of absolute darkness, bioluminescence becomes language, camouflage and lure, an evolutionary masterpiece sculpted by necessity. Ancient coral gardens, slow to grow and enduring for centuries, rise like submerged metropolises, providing shelter and structure in the void. Ethereal mid-water phantoms drift silently, their translucent bodies perfectly adapted to the twilight zone between light and darkness. Diversity flourishes in unexpected ways, with each niche occupied by creatures whose ingenuity is a testament to the power of evolution. The deep sea operates by its own rules, governed by chemistry and pressure rather than sunlight and warmth. Here, chemical energy from the Earth's interior fuels entire ecosystems, supporting life in the absence of the sun. In this domain, sound travels farther than light, and senses are honed to detect the faintest vibrations and echoes. Yet the deep sea remains largely a mystery, its secrets hidden beneath kilometers of water and layers of sediment. The journey into these depths is only beginning, with each descent revealing new wonders and raising new questions. The surface of distant planets and moons is mapped in greater detail than the ocean floor of this world. Over 80% of the ocean remains a blank canvas, its contours and features still unknown. Beneath the surface, vast expanses of unexplored territory stretch into darkness, untouched and unseen. These regions hold the potential for discoveries that could reshape understanding of life, geology, and the planet itself. Each new glimpse into the abyss reveals landscapes never before witnessed, where the unfamiliar is the norm. With every exploration, new frontiers are crossed, and the unknown becomes a little less mysterious. The descent into darkness is a journey into the uncharted, where every shadow may conceal a new geological marvel or a living enigma. Underwater mountains, trenches, and vents form a landscape as dramatic as any on the surface, waiting to be revealed. New species, never before seen, emerge from the darkness, each one a testament to the resilience and creativity of life. The deep sea's vast unknown holds both promise and profound mystery, its depths a wellspring of unanswered questions. What forms of life remain hidden in the deepest trenches beyond the reach of light and warmth? What ingenious survival strategies have evolved in these extreme conditions, where energy is scarce and pressure immense? The deep sea may hold the keys to understanding the origins of life, the limits of adaptation, and the potential for existence in the most unlikely places. Chemosynthetic communities at hydrothermal vents demonstrate that life can flourish without sunlight, drawing energy from the Earth itself. These ecosystems are living laboratories, revealing the astonishing possibilities of biology and chemistry intertwined. The existence of such life opens the door to the possibility that similar ecosystems could exist beneath the icy shells of distant moons, such as Europa. Oceans, hidden beneath ice, warmed by internal heat, may harbor their own unique forms of life, awaiting discovery. The deep sea stands as the last great frontier, a domain of endless possibility and wonder. It is a repository of biological marvels, geological wonders, and secrets yet untold, each awaiting revelation. As technology advances, new tools will unlock greater depths, revealing more of this hidden world and its intricate web of life. With each discovery, the complexity and fragility of these ecosystems become ever more apparent, underscoring the need for careful observation and understanding. For millennia, the deep sea has been shielded by its remoteness, its mysteries preserved in silence and darkness. Now, new challenges arise as pollution, resource extraction, and climate change begin to reach even these remote depths. The impacts of human activity ripple through the water, threatening the delicate balance that has endured for eons. The imperative is clear: to explore and understand this magnificent realm before its wonders are lost. Only through knowledge can the deep sea's mysteries continue to inspire awe and spark curiosity for generations yet to come. The last great frontier awaits, its depths holding the promise of discoveries that will forever expand the boundaries of understanding. In the utter blackness of the deep sea, where sunlight is forever banished and shadows reign, a different kind of light emerges, one conjured not by stars or fire, but by the living inhabitants themselves. This is the realm of bioluminescence, where the darkness is punctuated by sudden dazzling displays, bursts of blue, green, and even red, painting ephemeral constellations across the void. Here, light is a living language. At the molecular level, bioluminescence is born from chemical alchemy. Specialized enzymes called luciferases interact with light-emitting molecules, luciferanes, within the bodies of deep-sea creatures. When triggered, this reaction releases photons, creating cold, radiant light that consumes no precious body heat. The mechanisms vary between species. Some house symbiotic bacteria in dedicated light organs, while others manufacture their own chemical reagents, controlling the glow with remarkable precision. For some, like the lanternfish, bioluminescence is a cloak of invisibility. Counter-illumination along their bellies matches the faint light filtering down from above, erasing their silhouettes and allowing them to vanish from view. Predators and prey alike see only empty water. In others, like the anglerfish, light is a deadly lure. A filament tipped with a glowing bulb dangles before gaping jaws, mimicking the gentle flicker of small prey. Curious victims, drawn by promise of an easy meal, drift closer, only to vanish in a swift, silent strike. Elsewhere, swarms of tiny ostracods and copypods unleash brilliant flashes in coordinated waves, confusing hunters and cloaking their escape. The vampire squid, a master of misdirection, ejects a cloud of glowing mucus, a luminous smokescreen that dazzles and distracts. For the comb jellies, light is both defense and art. Rows of cilia refract bioluminescent pulses into shimmering rainbows, mesmerizing and bewildering all who approach. Communication, too, is woven into these glowing patterns. Flashing signals and coded blinks announce territory, attract mates, or warn rivals to stay away. Some species even synchronize their displays in great underwater ballets, entire schools pulsing as one. Their light shows echoing in the darkness for kilometers. The diversity is staggering. The hatchetfish, with its mirror-plated flanks, can fine-tune its glow to match moon phases and starlight. The stoplight loosejaw boasts two colors, red to hunt unseen in the gloom, and blue to communicate. In the abyssal plains, fields of glowing sea pens and tubeworms create a living nebula, each colony a beacon in the void. Bioluminescence is the currency of survival in this world without sun. It deceives, attracts, warns, and hides. It is weapon, shield, and song. Each new species discovered in these depths reveals another twist on this luminous art. New wavelengths, new patterns, new strategies shaped by countless generations in darkness. In the deep sea, light is never wasted. Every flash, every gentle glow is a calculated risk, a vital message, or a final defense. It is the heartbeat of the abyss, an endless silent symphony of living light, unseen by human eyes for millennia. Only now, as technology peers deeper into the darkness, does the true scale of this radiant world begin to emerge, an ecosystem built not on sunlight, but on the ingenuity of life itself, shining defiantly against the eternal night. Beneath the crushing weight of the ocean, where darkness rules and silence reigns, extraordinary oases break the monotony of the abyssal plain. Here the seafloor cracks open and the earth's hidden energy spills forth. These are the deep sea vents and cold seeps, natural forges where chemistry, not sunlight, fuels entire ecosystems. At hydrothermal vents, superheated water, sometimes exceeding 400 degrees Celsius, erupts from fissures in the crust. Laden with dissolved minerals and metals, this scalding fluid billows into the frigid seawater, creating shimmering plumes and towering chimneys of stone, black smokers and white smokers, each bearing their own chemical signatures. The chemical ballet here is unique. Hydrogen sulfide, methane, and an array of metals surge from the vent, forming a toxic stew inhospitable to most surface life. But in this alien landscape, life thrives. Bacteria and archaea, invisible to the eye, form the foundation. These chemolithotrophs harness the chemical energy from vent fluids, chemosynthesis, converting poisonous gases into organic matter. Around them gather dense communities, giant tubeworms, their blood-red plumes billowing in the current, house symbiotic bacteria deep within their bodies. Clusters of ghostly white crabs and shrimp scuttle across the mineral towers, while armored snails and limpets graze on microbial mats. Blind fish and octopuses patrol the periphery, adapted to the heat and the dark. Cold seeps, by contrast, are quieter. Here, methane and other hydrocarbons seep slowly from the seabed, nourishing fields of mussels and clams. These bivalves, too, rely on symbiotic bacteria subsisting on the trickle of energy from below. Methane ice, clathrates, sometimes forms, glimmering ghost-like in the mud. Delicate tubeworms and soft corals dot these fields, their lives interwoven with the slow, steady pulse of chemical release. Both vents and seeps are engines of biodiversity. In the vast, nutrient-poor expanse of the deep, they concentrate life into vibrant patches, supporting hundreds of species found nowhere else. Here, evolution accelerates. Creatures develop heat-resistant enzymes, metal-plated shells, and intricate partnerships with microbes. These adaptations allow them to endure extremes of temperature, pressure, and toxicity unimaginable at the surface. The ecological significance of these sites is profound. They recycle the Earth's chemicals, forge new minerals, and provide refuge and sustenance in the abyss. Plumes from vents can fertilize distant waters, while the dense animal aggregations feed predators from far and wide. Even after vents go cold and seeps run dry, their mineral skeletons and organic remains become islands of opportunity, stepping stones for colonization, fueling yet another cycle of deep-sea life. In the endless dark, far from the sun's reach, deep-sea vents and cold seeps remind us, where energy flows, life finds a way. These hidden forges shape the chemistry of the ocean, cradle unique forms of life, and illuminate the boundless creativity of evolution, an untold story unfolding in the silent, secret heart of the earth. Beyond the blazing chimneys of the vents and the ghostly fields of cold seeps, the ocean floor plunges into its most enigmatic depths, the deep-sea trenches. These colossal gashes split the sea floor for thousands of kilometers, descending into chasms over 11,000 meters deep. Here, the Earth's crust bends and folds, tectonic plates collide, and the planet's most secretive geology is laid bare. Steep walls of basalt and ancient sediment rise like underwater cliffs, their slopes shrouded in perpetual blackness. Within these trenches the pressure is unthinkable, over 1,000 times greater than at the surface. Water presses in with the force of mountains, crushing all but the most exquisitely adapted forms of life. Ordinary proteins falter here, cell membranes would rupture, and yet, in these depths, life persists. The inhabitants are masters of adaptation. Their cells are fortified by pressure-loving enzymes, their bodies supple and soft, resisting the crushing embrace of the abyss. Transparent amphipods drift through the gloom, their shells infused with natural antifreeze. The elusive snailfish, boneless and gelatinous, glides slowly above the trench floor, its body built to withstand the weight of the world. The geology of the trenches is as dramatic as their inhabitants. Here earthquakes rumble and landslides tumble, sending plumes of silt swirling into the void. Hydrothermal seeps can dot the slopes, creating isolated pockets of chemistry, while mineral-rich muds accumulate in the deepest troughs. Rare metallic nodules and curious microbial mats hint at hidden processes still unknown. Food is a precious commodity. Most life here feeds on the rain of organic debris, marine snow, that drifts down from above. Occasionally a fallen carcass, an unseen whale, a distant squid, settles on the trench floor, becoming the center of a fleeting, ghostly feast. Bacteria flourish, breaking down the bounty, and scavengers arrive in silent procession. In these silent, shrouded valleys, life is sparse but astonishingly resilient. Each organism is a testament to the ingenuity of evolution, thriving where only darkness and pressure reign. The trenches remain one of Earth's final frontiers, a world apart, mysterious and untamed, where the secrets of the deep continue to unfold, untouched by the sun and unknown to all but the most tenacious forms of life. Beneath the crushing silence of the trenches, unseen forces are at work. Here, deep-sea currents, vast, slow-moving rivers of water, flow relentlessly through the darkness. These invisible streams, driven by differences in temperature, salinity, and the rotation of the Earth, weave a complex tapestry across the abyssal plains and through the deepest valleys. Unlike the energetic surface currents, deep sea currents move with patient determination, transporting water masses across entire ocean basins. Along their paths, they carry with them a precious cargo nutrients, dissolved oxygen, and even microscopic life. As these currents brush against seafloor ridges and trench walls, they stir up sediments, releasing trapped minerals and organic matter into the water. This gentle churning is a lifeline for the creatures of the abyss, infusing the darkness with the building blocks of survival. Nutrient-rich water upwelled from the depths provides sustenance for clouds of bacteria and plankton that form the base of the deep-sea food web. These microscopic communities in turn support larger life, filter-feeding sea cucumbers, brittle stars, and the ghostly amphipods that drift on the current's slow pulse. Even in the most desolate trenches, occasional surges of current can bring a windfall of food, triggering bursts of activity as scavengers gather to feast. The shape and flow of these underwater rivers are sculpted by the contours of the ocean floor. Steep canyons funnel currents into powerful jets, while broad plains allow them to spread and diffuse. In some places, eddies and whirlpools form, trapping nutrients in swirling pockets that become havens for life. Deep-sea currents are the silent architects of the abyss, shaping not just the distribution of life, but the very structure of the sea floor. Over millennia, their slow, persistent flow carves channels, redistributes sediments, and builds up mineral-rich deposits. In the eternal night of the deep, life depends on these hidden rivers. They are the unseen veins of the planet, carrying sustenance, shaping habitats, and connecting the farthest reaches of the world below the waves. Without them, even the most resilient creatures of the abyss would be lost to the silence. In the profound darkness of the deep sea, life has forged unexpected alliances. Here, in a world devoid of sunlight, survival hinges on cooperation and mutual benefit. These symbiotic relationships are lifelines, knitting together the fabric of existence in the abyss. Consider the relationship between the giant tubeworms and chemosynthetic bacteria. Found near hydrothermal vents, these towering worms have no mouth or digestive system. Instead, they rely entirely on their bacterial partners. Within the body of each worm, bacteria convert toxic hydrogen sulfide from the vent waters into organic molecules that nourish the worm. This ancient alliance allows both organisms to thrive in conditions that would be lethal to most. Another remarkable partnership exists between certain species of shrimp and deep-sea anemones. These shrimp, almost blind in the pitch-black depths, find refuge among the anemone's stinging tentacles. In return, the shrimp clean the anemone, removing debris and parasites. This mutualistic relationship provides the shrimp with protection and the anemone with a cleaner, healthier home. Then there are the flashlight fish, whose bioluminescent bacteria light up the dark waters. These bacteria reside in special pouches beneath the fish's eyes. The fish can control the light, using it to navigate, communicate, and lure prey. In turn, the bacteria gain a safe habitat and access to nutrients from the fish's body. In the deep-sea coral forests, tiny crabs and brittle stars weave another web of cooperation. The corals provide a complex structure that offers shelter and feeding grounds. In return, the crabs and brittle stars help keep the corals clean, removing sediments and detritus that could smother them. This delicate balance ensures the survival of both the corals and their caretakers. Even at the microscopic level, symbiosis is a cornerstone of life. Deep-sea sponges host diverse communities of microbes within their porous bodies. These microbes process nutrients and produce chemicals that deter predators, providing the sponge with both nourishment and defense. This intricate partnership allows sponges to thrive in nutrient-poor environments. In the vast cold expanses of the ocean floor, symbiosis is not just a strategy, it is a necessity. These partnerships illustrate the profound interconnectedness of life in the deep sea. They reveal a world where cooperation is key to survival, where every organism, no matter how small, plays a vital role in the intricate dance of life. In the abyss, where isolation could mean certain death, these relationships are beacons of resilience and adaptability. They remind us that even in the most extreme environments, life finds a way, not through competition, but through collaboration. Beneath the crushing weight of the ocean, far from sunlight and storms, the deep sea silently shapes the fate of our planet. Here, in the perpetual twilight, the world's largest ecosystem serves as a vast carbon engine, regulating Earth's climate in ways both subtle and profound. The process begins at the surface. Tiny phytoplankton, drifting in sunlit waters, capture carbon dioxide from the atmosphere through photosynthesis, forming the base of the marine food web. When these microscopic organisms die, or when larger creatures feed on them, their carbon-rich remains sink into the depths. This descent is known as the biological pump. As organic particles fall, some are consumed by mid-water creatures, but a significant portion reaches the deep ocean floor. Here, in the cold, dark sediment, carbon is locked away, sometimes for thousands, even millions of years. This natural sequestration slows the return of carbon to the atmosphere, acting as a brake on global warming. But the deep sea's role doesn't end with storage. Powerful currents, invisible rivers in the abyss, carry dissolved carbon and nutrients around the globe. These flows connect distant oceans, influencing weather patterns, nutrient cycles, and even the chemistry of the atmosphere itself. Occasionally, tectonic activity or upwelling brings deep-sea carbon back to the surface, completing a cycle that can span centuries. This slow, steady exchange is vital for maintaining Earth's delicate balance. Yet this system is fragile. Warming oceans, acidification, and human disturbance threaten to disrupt the abyssal engine. If the deep sea's carbon stores are released too quickly, the consequences could ripple through the climate, impacting every living thing. The silent depths remind us. The health of the deep is the health of the planet. In the endless night below, Earth's climate finds its quiet custodian. The deep sea is not just a frontier of life, but a guardian of our collective future, working unseen to keep the world in balance. In the silent world beneath the waves, where sunlight fades to blackness, life is shaped by extremes. Here, every resident is a specialist, engineered by evolution to endure what would destroy most others. Welcome to the realm of the deep sea, where survival depends on mastering darkness, withstanding crushing pressure, and thriving on almost nothing. First, the darkness. In these depths, eyes are often useless. Some creatures, like the gulper eel, have evolved enormous sensitive retinas to catch the faintest glimmer of bioluminescence, a living light show produced by their neighbors. Others, like the blind cusk eel, have abandoned vision altogether, relying on heightened senses of smell, hearing, and even the ability to detect vibrations in the water. In this world, touch and chemical signals guide the hunt, the escape, and the search for mates. Pressure is the second challenge, pressing in from all sides with immense force, hundreds of times greater than at the surface. To survive, deep-sea creatures have bodies built for resilience. Their bones, if they have them, are thin and flexible. Their flesh, often gelatinous, compresses rather than resists. The Mariana snailfish, for example, is soft-bodied, its organs and enzymes specially adapted to function under pressure that would crush a submarine. Cell membranes are uniquely composed to stay fluid and stable, while proteins are fine-tuned to keep working in the abyss. Then comes scarcity. In a place where food is rare and unpredictable, efficiency is everything. Many deep-sea predators, like the anglerfish, have enormous mouths and expandable stomachs, ready to devour prey of almost any size whenever the opportunity arises. Others, such as the tripod fish, wait motionless for whatever drifts their way, conserving precious energy. Some hosts, like the vampire squid, survive on marine snow, the constant fall of tiny organic particles from above, using sticky filaments to capture every morsel. Light, pressure, hunger, each a test of survival. Yet, from the ghostly translucence of the glass octopus to the armour of the scaly-foot snail, the deep sea is a gallery of innovation. Every adaptation is a testament to life's persistence. In the endless black, far from the world's gaze, these creatures flourish, masters of an environment as alien as any other in the universe. The abyss is their home, and they are its undisputed champions. Beneath the crushing silence and eternal darkness, the deep sea is alive with secrets. An unending story written in pulses of light and flickers of movement. Here discovery is not an event, but a constant rhythm. Every shadow may conceal a new marvel, every crevice a life-form unseen by surface eyes. In the black expanse the parade of new life never halts. Creatures emerge from the gloom, each stranger than the last, an octopus with transparent skin revealing a beating heart, a worm adorned with iridescent bristles weaving through hydrothermal gardens, a jelly drifting with delicate filaments, its body aglow with colours unknown. Some are so unlike anything known that even their place in the tree of life is a mystery, blurring the boundaries between animal, plant, and something else entirely. There are fish, with heads like lanterns, lighting their own way through the void. Shrimp, with claws that snap fast enough to create bubbles of light and heat. Tiny crustaceans, armoured and ancient, drifting like time-travellers through a world unchanged for eons. Each new species is a puzzle piece, a clue to the grand design of life in the abyss. Yet for all their strangeness, these beings are not alone. They are part of a living tapestry, woven together by currents, by the slow drift of food from above, by the silent language of bioluminescence. In this kingdom of perpetual night, diversity flourishes in the most unlikely forms. Life finds a way again and again, rewriting the rules with every new arrival. No human eyes witness these moments of emergence. There are no footprints, no echoes of exploration, only the patient unfolding of nature's creativity. The deep sea is a realm where the unknown is not a frontier to be conquered, but a living, breathing presence. For every species we know, there are countless more awaiting discovery, dancing in the darkness, reminding us that the world is far more mysterious and far more wondrous than we can ever imagine. Far below the waves, beyond the reach of sunlight and the memory of storms, the deep sea is a world shaped not only by life, but by the raw power of the planet itself. Here natural cataclysms unfold in silence, unseen and unfelt by all but the inhabitants of the abyss. Underwater volcanoes rise from the sea floor, their eruptions slow and inexorable. Pillars of molten rock seep into the darkness, building new mountains one eruption at a time. Where fire meets water, entire landscapes are forged, reshaping the seafloor and creating islands of heat and minerals in the cold, mineral-starved expanse. Around these volcanic vents, life assembles in sudden abundance, thriving on the chemical bounty that spills from the Earth's heart. Microbes feast on sulfur and methane, forming the foundation for entire communities of worms, clams, and ghostly crabs. In the aftermath of an eruption, old colonies may perish, but new life swiftly moves in, turning devastation into opportunity. Elsewhere, the abyss shudders with the silent violence of earthquakes. Tectonic plates shift and grind, sending tremors rippling through the deep. The seafloor cracks open, releasing plumes of minerals and gases. Landslides sweep across underwater cliffs, stirring up clouds of sediment and burying ancient habitats. In these moments, the landscape is rewritten. Chasms open, ridges rise, and valleys collapse. Yet, even in chaos, life adapts. Creatures migrate to safer ground or burrow deep to wait out the upheaval. Some species seem to anticipate the change, responding to subtle cues in the water long before disaster strikes. These cataclysms, though destructive, are also creators. They open new habitats, expose fresh minerals, and spark bursts of evolutionary innovation. In their wake, the deep sea is reborn, anew, again and again, in a cycle as old as the ocean itself. In this realm of darkness, the forces of nature are the hidden architects, Shaping a world where survival is a dance between destruction and renewal, the abyss endures, and in its enduring it is forever changed. Beneath the crushing weight of the ocean, where sunlight never dares to wander, the inhabitants of the deep sea have evolved astonishing biochemical abilities. Here, every organism is a living laboratory, its very survival a testament to molecular ingenuity honed over millennia. In the ink-black waters, certain bacteria thrive by harnessing energy from toxic chemicals like hydrogen sulfide and methane. These extremophiles have developed enzymes capable of withstanding temperatures and pressures that would destroy most life. Their proteins fold in ways that resist denaturation, allowing them to catalyze reactions in the unlikeliest of environments. Elsewhere, deep-sea sponges and corals secrete potent compounds as shields against relentless predators and microbial invaders. Each chemical is a bespoke weapon, an intricate molecular pattern that disrupts cell walls, halts DNA replication, or disables enzymes in would-be attackers. These defensive strategies have given rise to a kaleidoscope of peptides, alkaloids, and other unique molecules, each with a story written in the language of survival. Among the shifting sands and hydrothermal vents, tubeworms and giant clams form symbiotic partnerships with chemosynthetic microbes. These collaborations are sustained by complex signaling molecules and nutrient exchanges, mediated by biochemistries found nowhere else on Earth. The tissues of these creatures are infused with antioxidants and protective proteins, shielding them from the corrosive chemistry of their world. Even the luminous denizens of the deep, squid, jellyfish, and anglerfish, carry within them the secrets of light. Their bioluminescent organs are masterworks of protein engineering. Luciferins and luciferuses interact in precise cascades, producing cold light in a range of colors. Some species wield this ability as camouflage, others as lures or alarms, each adaptation a marvel of evolutionary chemistry. In the perpetual night of the abyss, life's struggle has yielded an arsenal of biochemical adaptations. These molecules are more than mere defenses. They are living blueprints, each one a testament to the deep sea's boundless capacity for innovation. Here, in the world's greatest darkness, nature's hidden laboratories are always at work experimenting, refining, and surviving.